This one truth will change how you see your life forever, because one choice creates your entire path. If you're looking for motivation, wisdom, and life lessons, take the path of purpose.
Is there free will? It's one of the deepest and most mind-bending questions ever asked. It has divided philosophers, inspired religions, challenged scientists, and sparked debates that span centuries. Are we truly the authors of our actions? Or are we just passengers on a track laid down by biology, culture, and cause and effect? We wake up each day and make choices: what to wear, what to eat, where to go, who to love, what to believe. We feel like we are in control. But what if that feeling is an illusion? What if every decision we make has already been shaped by forces we can't see or control? Let's begin this journey with a simple moment. Imagine standing in front of two doors, one red, one blue. You think for a moment and walk through the red one. Now ask yourself, why? Did you choose it freely? Or did something, your memories, your upbringing, your mood, make the choice for you? To answer the question of free will, we have to look from every angle: philosophy, science, psychology, and history. Because the truth, if we're brave enough to face it, is more complex than yes or no. It is layered, paradoxical, and deeply human. Let's start with the ancients. The idea of free will is not new. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle believed humans had the power to reason, and with reason came moral responsibility. To them, free will was what made ethics possible. If we couldn't choose right from wrong, how could we be held accountable for our actions? In the East, the conversation was different. In Buddhism and Hinduism, life is shaped by karma, cause and effect. Actions have consequences, and these consequences ripple through time. Still, the concept of choice is present. In these traditions, enlightenment comes not from blind destiny, but from choosing awareness, mindfulness, discipline. But then came a shift. With the rise of science and the discovery of physical laws, thinkers began to question: if everything in the universe obeys laws, if even our brains are made of atoms that obey the laws of physics, then are our choices just the result of chemical reactions? Is your decision to move, to speak, to act, just neurons firing in patterns that were set in motion long before you were born? In the 18th century, the philosopher and mathematician Pierre-Simon Laplace said this: if we could know the position and momentum of every atom in the universe, we could predict the future with absolute certainty. According to him, everything is determined, including you. But hold on, that's not the whole story. Let's move to the 20th century. Science evolved, quantum mechanics emerged, and suddenly, uncertainty entered the equation. At the smallest scales of reality, outcomes are not fixed, they are probabilistic. A particle might go this way or that way, and we can't say for sure until it happens. Does this mean we have free will? Not quite. Randomness is not freedom. If your choices are random, you're still not in control. You've just traded determinism for chaos. So, where does that leave us? Here's where it gets interesting. Neuroscience stepped in. Scientists began studying the brain to find out when decisions happen. In the 1980s, a famous experiment by Benjamin Libet revealed something startling. The brain shows signs of making a decision before a person is consciously aware of choosing. That raised a terrifying possibility. What if the conscious mind is just playing catch-up? What if the real decisions are made unconsciously, and our feeling of free will is just a story we tell ourselves? But this too has been debated. More recent research suggests that, while our brain starts preparing for action unconsciously, we can still intervene. We can veto. We can stop ourselves. Change d'élection. Reflect. Decide. So what does that mean? Is free will real or not? Here's a radical thought. Maybe we're asking the wrong question. Maybe free will isn't about being free from all influences. Maybe it's about the ability to reflect, to evaluate, to choose within our influences. Think of it like this. You were born into a world you didn't choose. You inherited a body, a brain, a culture, a language. You were shaped by genetics and environment. You didn't pick your starting point, but from that point, you began to make choices. You learned, you adapted, you overcame. You are not a blank slate, but you are not a robot either. You are a system capable of awareness, capable of imagining different futures, capable of saying, "This is who I was, but not who I have to be." And that space between stimulus and responses where free will lives. It's not absolute freedom. It's not total control. It's not the power to do anything. It's the power to do something different. It's the power to pause, to consider, to change course. And that's what makes us human. Free will is not a switch. It's a spectrum. Some people live reactively, unconsciously, repeating patterns they never question. Others live reflectively, intentionally, shaping their lives with purpose. The more self-aware you become, the more freedom you gain. And here's the beautiful part. Free will grows. Like a muscle, it strengthens with use. The more you choose to act from values, not impulses, the more you learn to think critically, instead of reacting emotionally. The more you practice discipline over distraction, the freer you become. Let's bring this down to the personal level. Have you ever stopped yourself from saying something hurtful even though you were angry? Have you ever chosen kindness when it would have been easier to be cruel? Have you ever broken a cycle that was passed down through generations and decided, "It ends with me"? That is free will. It's not about denying our past. It's about not being defined by it. Free will is not the absence of influence. It's the presence of conscious choice. Let's return to history for a moment. Think of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing. The last of the human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." He was imprisoned, starved, and dehumanized, but he still chose to find meaning. That's freedom. Or Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years. He walked out of prison not with vengeance, but with vision. He chose forgiveness. That's freedom. Or Malala Yousafzai, shot for going to school. She chose not fear, but advocacy. That's freedom. These are not people who lived without limits. They are people who chose within their limits. And you can too. So, is there free will? Yes, but not in the way you might think. You don't get to choose your genetics. You don't get to choose your childhood. You don't get to choose every thought that arises in your mind. But you do get to choose what you do with those thoughts. You get to choose how you respond. You get to choose your story. And in a world full of noise, pressure, and programming, that is a revolutionary act. So, don't wait for perfect freedom. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait until everything feels certain. Choose now. Choose wisely. Choose to be aware, to reflect, to rise above reaction, to write your own script. Because while we may never be fully free from all influences, we can be free enough to live with courage, to act with purpose, and to leave behind a legacy that says, "I chose, I changed, I mattered." And in the end, maybe that's all the free will we ever need.